So I wanted to get some yellow headlight bulbs, kind of a JDM rally car look for the Corolla here. This car takes 9,004 bulbs, and we cannot get any through the parts store at all. We can only get standard Sylvanias. The most yellow ones we have would be just the basic factory-style headlights. So I went on Google and looked up yellow 9004 halogen bulbs, and it came up with, this is my first find. Luminics JDM yellow, a bunch of Japanese writing, so you know it had to be good if it was, you know, Japanese yellow, and in Japanese, this is a Japanese car after all, made in California. But we're going to put these things in and see how they look during the day, lights off, and at nighttime, of course, and do a little comparison. And of course, depending on if they last, I've heard some mixed reviews on these particular ones. Do kind of a torture test and see how long I can get some life out of them. And see how long they work for me. So I guess I'd put these in. 9004s are probably one of the easiest headlight bulbs to actually change out. So first you want to grab the ring that holds it in place, twist it counterclockwise towards you here, pull out, and the bulb comes out like so. And then you get the connector here. You're going to want to push down on it, and the bulb should pull out. These are pretty old bulbs, so they might give you a fight. There you go. If you pry on it, you can start feeling it move a little bit. So yeah, supposed to be able to push down on that, get something in there, pry the bulb out, and it will come out like so. Here's our old bulb, our old 9004. This thing is ancient, by the way. And here are our shiny JDM yellow Luminics. Ooh, fancy. Is removal, but backwards. So very simple. Line this top notch up with there. Push, lift up on the tab to the best you can, and click it into place. That being said, that should be a connected bulb. Installing these are also very simple. You just make sure this kind of groove in the headlight bulb is facing horizontally here, or vertically with the front of the headlight. Stick it in there, push it, you kind of feel it just kind of sit into place gently. Don't forget your ring on there too, so put that on before you put the bulb in. Line it up, push it in, make sure the O-ring is sealing it off, and then put your ring clockwise and that locks it in. Initially already you can kind of tell there's kind of a yellowish hue going on, at least maybe a little bit compared to the other one. So we'll see what it looks like when we turn it on. It's definitely a lot more yellow. It's hard to tell in kind of the daylight here, but comparing the two, this one is way more yellow. And honestly, I think it looks really good. So we will swap these out and see what we think. So this is how they look at nighttime, or more towards sunset here. See the moon in the sky here. Really not a terrible yellow at all. I don't know if the camera picks it up as well, but I mean, they're definitely more yellow than a traditional incandescent bulb. And they do add a nice little extra flare. I mean, a lot of cars run yellow headlights, like period. So definitely doesn't look too shabby. Not quite bright enough to cast a total light color here, but enough to be noticeable. The camera doesn't pick it up the greatest, but here's on a wall here. It looks really white to the camera, but I can assure you that is very, very yellow. Here's a 4th gen Firebird's stock halogen bulbs compared. I mean, as you can see, that looks yellow to a normal eye, but that's the Toyota's yellow headlight bulb. Quite the difference in color. Here's a little at night driving test to show you guys how yellow they look on kind of normal roads or highway. Reflections on cars. Part of me thought it was going to be a little too yellow for comfort, but honestly, it's really not that bad. In fact, I think it's easier on the eyes than like switching over to LEDs from a halogen bulb. It does reflect on white signs very yellow, which is kind of cool. You'll see up here they look very orange, the signs. So yeah, that is my review of the JDM yellow headlights. I've had them in there for about a month with my headlight housings seeping moisture into them, and they have not lost their color at all. They've not been ruined. I've read some reviews that say they get ruined pretty easily. So far they've been absolute troopers, and they're not too yellow to be totally uncomfortable and hard to get used to. They're just the kind of right yellow color, I would say. And they do spruce up the car, just that little bit extra. And they're definitely not a half bad look for an older Toyota Corolla either.